This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
I was actually sitting at the counter and I heard a loud bang and it popped our door open.
And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control.
We've had incidents of him landing on people's head and taking food out of their mouths.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. At least one person is dead, 2 are missing, and dozens believed to be injured following multiple explosions at a U.S. steel plant in Clairton, Pennsylvania. That's south of Pittsburgh. Here's Fox News.
We are being told by county officials that there's possible entrapment, so they are searching through the rubble and trying to find anybody who remains after this explosion that happened at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works factory just before 11 a.m. This is the largest coke manufacturing facility in the United States.
There is a helipad at the factory being used to transport victims. Deanna Forkey works across the street from that plant.
At about 10:30, I was actually sitting at the counter and I heard a loud bang and it popped our door open, and then I saw a bunch of black smoke. And then I looked out the window again and there I just saw a bunch of all the first responders.
Senator John Fetterman was near Clairton and drove to the factory and said it's a reminder of how dangerous this job is. He had a message for those impacted.
Thoughts go to the families. They've lost someone today, and it's just absolutely tragic. And now I grieve for these families.
WPXI reporter Jess Shannon.
This is not the first workplace incident at the U.S. Steel Clairton facility this year even that left workers injured. This is, though, the first incident this year that has left someone dead.
Here is what we know. There was a fire at the plant that started at 10:51 a.m. and it kicked off a series of explosions. That plant is crawling with medical personnel at this hour, first responders and police. We'll keep you posted as we know more. Now to our nation's capital. President Trump deployed the National Guard today in Washington, D.C. and put city police under federal authority.
And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control.
U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Let me be crystal clear. Crime in D.C. is ending and ending today.
She says it'll take federal intervention to do that.
We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo. We have the National Gallery. D.C. should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe.
Retired NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow.
These are the centers of commerce and culture for our entire nation. They're dying, and the president recognizes that. And so he's very clearly trying to set a metric here where he's going to say, look, we're going to fix D.C. You're going to watch us do it.
He says the president just sent a message to every city across America. Clean up your town, lower your crime, or we're on our way.
But if you're in some of these other cities that are really under siege, L.A., and of course you just can expand it out to Philly, to Baltimore, Seattle, Portland, even New York. Very clearly, he's speaking coast to coast, and he wants to hit reset on things like cashless bail and some of the other issues that are a downward pressure on the safety of our cities.
The Ukraine war takes center stage for President Trump this week. There is a high-stakes meeting with Trump and Russia happening on Friday. Donald Trump was asked today about the chance that Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, will be involved in that face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump said, not yet.
The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need, but I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders.
Friday's get-together is the first in-person meeting between the leaders of the U.S. and Russia since Moscow ordered the invasion of Ukraine in the winter of 2022. The Texas State House has once again failed to reach a quorum after Democrats left the state to block a GOP-led redistricting vote. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is playing hardball. He's still threatening to have more than 50 House Democrats arrested.
If they show back up in the state of Texas, they will be arrested and taken to the Capitol. If they want to evade that arrest, they're going to have to stay outside of the state of Texas for literally years.
Once the redistricting vote is taken, 5 seats could go to Republicans. Forecasters expect Tropical Storm Erin to become the first hurricane of this year's Atlantic season. Erin's winds reach 40 miles an hour today, and it's currently located west of the Cabo Verde Islands. The storm forecast to continue moving about 15 to 20 miles an hour across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic. Dollar stores are seeing more and more American consumers. A new study shows dollar stores are now the fastest growing food retailers in the U.S. as people choose the budget-friendly stores for a price advantage. There's a busy week ahead on Wall Street. Will the Fed eventually cut interest rates at their next meeting? Tom Hudson is a financial journalist in Miami, Florida.
The issue is, of course, inflation has come down, but remains stubbornly above that 2% mark that the Fed is much more comfortable with. So we've got the weak jobs, which signals lower interest rates, but we're likely to see tomorrow with the consumer price index that inflation, it's like the in-laws that are not leaving and going home after summer vacation, summer visits.
We could get some key data this week for the Fed making that decision, but Hudson says it's not looking promising for an interest rate cut. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, more on the explosion at the U.S. Steel factory in Clairton, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's largest abortion clinic fails a safety inspection, and the Glen logs its next winner. Those stories after weather with Kevin Williams.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. For tonight, it's clear to partly cloudy and balmy, low temperatures 60s to near 70. Tomorrow, hot and more humid than recent days. A mix of clouds and sunshine, just a slight chance for late day or evening thunder shower. High temperatures near 90. And muggy Wednesday, a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. High temperatures Wednesday in the 80s to near 90.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories and making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Recapping our top story today, there has been a major explosion at a steel plant in the Keystone State. It happened this morning at Clairton Coke near Pittsburgh in Allegheny County. 1 person dead, dozens injured, and 2 still missing. First responders are on the scene combing through rubble. Clairton Mayor Richard Latanzi.
And some people possibly injured, maybe critically, and my heart goes out to them and their family.
This man works there and spoke with WTAE in Pittsburgh.
I've never seen anyone lose their lives or heard of an explosion that big. This is maybe the biggest one that's ever happened.
Family members are coming to the plant and they don't know where their loved ones are.
There's no crisis at all. I've one person saying he's deceased, and then you're hopeful, and it's just like we need to know where our loved ones are right now. What hospital are they stationed at? Are they with us? Are they not with us?
1,300 people work at the Clairton plant every day. Those living nearby have been ordered to shelter in place. New York Governor Kathy Hochul won't say whether she'll endorse New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani.
There's many areas of disagreement, but also there's areas of alignment, including affordability. His election touched a nerve. I've worked with 2 different mayors. I will make it work out because I'm not going to go to war with the 8 million residents of New York that I also represent.
Hochul, who's seeking re-election herself next year, has spoken out against some of Mamdani's more controversial policies, including government-run grocery stores. For the 9th year in a row, Pennsylvania's largest abortion clinic has failed a safety inspection. The Philadelphia Women's Center performs over 5,000 abortions a year. Nearly 900 late-term abortions are done there every year. Despite the hazards, the state health department has yet to sanction that clinic. And a man from New Zealand took the NASCAR Cup at Watkins Glen International this weekend. Shane Van Gisbergen finished a whopping 11 seconds ahead of runner-up Christopher Bell in Sunday's race. He was asked, how did it feel?
Amazing. Amazing to get another one, execute all day, and really, really special. And just to add to what we've done this year is it's a privilege to drive for such a great team, and I'm so stoked.
Next at 5, Missions Pulse with our own Bob Price. This week we're spotlighting New Hope Family Services in Syracuse, New York. Our guest, Executive Director Jill Putman. Let's listen in.
Well, Joe, I'm sure you get asked this question a million times, so I'll ask it and get it out of the way. What is New Hope Family Services anyway? Are you a Christian adoption agency? Are you a crisis pregnancy center? How do you describe who you are to people who don't know?
Well, yes, actually, we are both. New Hope Family Services is a pregnancy resource center and a New York State authorized adoption agency in New York State.
Okay. How long have you been providing adoption services in New York?
We've been providing adoption services in Central New York since 1965. So we are just celebrating our 60th anniversary of adoption services here in Central New York.
Wow. So, Jill, if you would just explain a little bit, how great is the need for Christian adoptions?
There is a need, and there's no other Christian adoption agency in New York State that provides the services that we provide. There's a lot of brokenness in our community, and it's beneficial for us to be able to work with couples and to be able to match them with a child, but to also be able to provide sharing the gospel with them and praying for them. And like I said, there's no other agency like this in our state.
How many adoptions do you do a year on average?
I'm going to say somewhere between 7 to 10, typically. Okay. We are a smaller agency, so we might not have the numbers of a very large secular agency, but the placements that we have been absolutely beautiful, and our relationships with the adoptive couples as well as the birth parents have been just a beautiful thing.
Maybe there's someone today listening to this program who, for whatever reason, cannot have children of their own and really feels the call to adopt. If you could walk us through the process of an adoption and all the questions that people have to ask themselves.
Sure. Yeah, well, coming into adoption, I mean, the way that we do it at New Hope, anyone who is interested in adoption, we hold an orientation, and the orientation walks through our whole entire adoption program, the process. A lot of times people who are looking to adopt have gone through infertility and or miscarriages. Adoption is a lot of education and learning about the triad, the healthy triad between the adoptive parent, the child, and the birth parents. And then after the orientation, we have an application process, and we have adoptive caseworkers that will go through a series of interviewing and home study rounds. And once those are all approved, then we can create a profile of their life and their family to be able to present to any birth parents that are considering placing their babies for adoption.
So how long is the process start to finish? How long does it typically take?
I would say about 4 months from the first interview until they're approved. It's about a 4-month process.
That's New Hope Family Services in Syracuse, New York. You can subscribe, listen to, and share Missions Pulse and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
When it comes to investing, wisdom often begins from the inside out. Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. Austin Pryor shares in an article at faithfi.com that many people chase the latest headlines, articles promising hot picks or can't miss trends. But biblical stewardship isn't driven by hype. It's guided by clarity, purpose, and long-term faithfulness. Instead of reacting to outside noise, start with your own situation. What are your goals? What's your current financial picture? What stage of life are you in? Austin puts it this way: it's much better to be guided by a well-defined personal strategy than to be whipped around by outside-in factors like what the experts are predicting. Thoughtful, prayerful investing starts with knowing yourself and trusting God with the outcome. Get biblical answers to your financial questions in the FaithFi community. Download FaithFi, Faith and Finance in your app store or visit faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, the seagull that wants your lunch. That story after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Another dry, quiet, moonlit night is ahead, and dry is the key. We do need rain in much of the area, bordering drought in some parts of western New York, but rainfall scanned in the short term. Now, there will be the opportunity for a couple of showers and thunderstorms later Tuesday night and Wednesday, but they'll be hit and miss. And that'll be our only rain chance through the coming weekend. For tonight, it's clear to partly cloudy and balmy, low temperature 60s to near 70. For tomorrow, hot and more humid than recent days. A mix of clouds and sunshine, just a slight chance for a late day or evening thundershower. High temperatures near 90. And muggy Wednesday, a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. High temperatures Wednesday in the 80s to near 90.
All right, Kevin, finally at 5. Cecil the seagull is terrorizing a Connecticut beach.
As long as he puts his mind to it, he can eat anything on the beach at this point.
The seagull came, flew that way, took the cookie.
I'm eating my cookie under my cover-up because it will steal my cookie.
There is a thief flying around Waterford Beach Park. He has a yellow beak, beady eyes, and the determination of someone who hasn't eaten in years. It is obvious he hasn't missed a meal in a while, though.
And you can tell because he's the fattest around.
This is Cecil, the seagull by the seashore. He takes food and no prisoners.
I could feel his wings, too. It was, so close. We've had incidents of him, landing on people's head and taking food out of their mouths.
His favorite foods, the lifeguards say carbs.
Oh, he's a big fan of carbs, yeah.
His daily dive bombs have prompted a new Facebook page where hundreds of people are sharing their Band-Aid photos after he landed on them and stole breakfast and lunch and dinner.
He swoops right in, takes food right out of people's hands, takes your fingers with him.
But the town told NBC there's not much they can do because the beach dwellers are in his house.
We did speak with animal control, and the reality is it's a wild animal. It's causing no true harm, so there's not much we can do but laugh along with him.
Waterford Park Beach in Connecticut. You can go there, but bring Band-Aids and a backup meal. And that's the world that we live in for Monday, the 11th of August. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.